you have undoubtedly heard of an AABA song, but the fact that you're watching this video makes me believe that you would like some clarification about exactly what it is. It's typically a symmetrical piece of music that is divided into 4 equal parts, like 32 bars, for instance. It could be longer, it could be shorter, but 32 bars is the approximate standard, and the math works out great. The first A section, for instance, is 8 bars long, and then you'll take those 8 bars and repeat them, musically repeat them, and then you do something completely different for the 8 bars starting at bar, what is that math, 17. That B section is different musically, and then you return to those original 8 bars for the final 8 bars. You start with a chunk, you repeat the chunk, you do something different, and then you end with that same chunk. Again, could be longer, could be shorter. They don't have to be equal. Sondheim, for instance, is notorious for lengthening the A's as the song progresses. Jason Robert Brown has gigantically long A's. It's often hard to find where's the end of that, but you sort of need a musical crane shot to see that at its heart that song is actually AABA. But for the purposes of instruction, let's talk about them as 32 bars. So the first stanza, as it were, the first 8 bars, oftentimes there's some, musically it repeats, often verbatim, musically verbatim. The first A section is the same as the second section, the second A section. But there's often some lyric that is repeated. Maybe a portion of the first line, maybe a portion of the second line, maybe a portion of the third line, maybe a portion of the fourth line. For instance, let's look at Somewhere Over the Rainbow, in which it's the first line which gets repeated. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. That's the first A, takes 8 bars. Then we repeat it, somewhere over the rainbow. You see that that's the repeating portion. Skies are blue and the dreams that you dreamed really do come true. Then we don't go somewhere over the rainbow, we do something different. The B section is musically different. Maybe it's a different rhythm, maybe it's a different key, maybe it's a different key signature, maybe it's all of that. But it's definitely a different idea. It's a contrast. Perhaps it's a different tempo. Lyrically, it's different from the A's as well. So it doesn't start with Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It starts with someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. That's where you'll find me. Then we repeat that A one last time. A, B, A, right? You can repeat, for instance, it doesn't have to be the first line. It can be the last line. Let's look at, actually, let's look at Climb Every Mountain, where the first line repeats exactly, just like the same structure. Climb every mountain, blah, 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 every path you know. Repeat. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, till we find a dream. B section, something completely different. A dream that we need, blah, 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 dream, and then repeat. Climb every mountain. But oftentimes it's the last line which gets repeated. Look at bewitched, bothered, and bewildered. I'm wild again, beguiled again, simpering, whimpering child again. Bewitched, bothered, and bewildered am I. That's the A. Then we repeat it. Couldn't sleep, wouldn't sleep, bewitched, bothered, and bewildered am I. B section. I lost my heart, but of it, different rhythm, different feel. Then we return to that final A. I'll sing to her, cling to her, bewitched, bothered, and bewildered. Now in AABA, that whole chunk, that 30 bars, is called a refrain, and that whole chunk can be preceded by an introduction, for instance. It could be preceded by a whole verse, so that conceivably you could have one character sing a verse and then sing the refrain, and then swing the spotlight over to somebody else who sings another verse. Or maybe that character sings, a different aspect, a time shift or something. And then you repeat the refrain all over again. Verse, refrain, verse, refrain. That winds up being a fairly lengthy structure. And more typically, there's an intro and the refrain, and then maybe some other something smaller than an entire verse. and then the refrain. But you get the idea. You want to think of the refrain as a chunk, all right?